Guys, we are back with more Avengers. So initially, I wasn't going to start right here, but this was kind of cool. Anyway, when I came to my Avengers screen, I saw this on the right, so went over to it, clicked on it, and I was able to purchase the Plus Reward pack for free. Because Kate Bishop and all that stuff. Anyway, if you haven't done it, and it's available for you, then it will probably show up here like it did for me. Anyway, we'll be right back. I'm not sure where it shows up, but I figured I would start recording here just in case it shows up on the next screen. Showing all the stuff that we get for purchasing that pack for 0 money. There we go. Awesome, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, what's 100 units in these days? Especially where the game is heading. Because, community challenge, don't think it's ever been done since the first couple weeks of the game being out. To tell you the truth, I haven't seen that bar move. Although, if you stay on this screen long enough, it will show you a little progression. Anyway, we'll be right back. So guys, a little different today. I didn't really feel like playing that much, to tell you the truth. There's not a lot of motivation, no reality to kind of play this game. I play it because a lot of you like the content and my ramblings, which I really appreciate. I am trying to venture in different games and see, where the interest is, and hopefully we'll find a game that you guys like. I am planning on picking up Outriders when it comes out. The demo will be out on the 25th of February, and I'll be playing that. Something new. The looter shooter, so I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that we can all learn from each other. But anyway, yeah, what I was going to do in this video was go through my character. So this is my Kamala build, and as you can tell by my resources, I can max her out anytime I feel like it. The only reason I'm at 135s is because why not? I don't really know if this is the gear that I want to go with. All I was trying to do here was go with Valor and Might, and that was it. In terms of gear selection and such, no reason, just Valor, Might, and that's it. So a little bit of resolve here just to get my my health up about that 13k mark. Wish it was a little bit higher, but it's all good. She's got 3 heals. Anyway, yeah, so all I'm gonna do is go through my build and just why I did it. With Kamala, she is a support character. She's the only healer out of the group, but she's also got very strong, very strong melee. And as you can tell, I've got a couple pieces in my bank. But I was kind of working on her, and then they released Kate. I was working on her, Cap. Her and Cap at the same time, I think. Anyway, take a look at my gear. Let me know your thoughts. What I can improve, what you would change. I don't really want to go through all the gear in my bags, but again, main thing here is Valor and Might with a little bit of resolve and resilience. And I'm using the Norn Stone for the extra damage. I think my stats are decent. I mean, she doesn't really do a lot of damage with her heroic. So it's all mostly flat melee. That was what I was going for with her. But again, I could literally just pump this up to, all of these up to 140. And I'm literally going to be 150 power level. So that's her kind of build out. In terms of skills, I went with, oh crap, button. This is my build out for skills, specialties. What did I do? I went with extra healing and extra healing. You would think that when she's AI, she would actually use one of these 3 heals every now and again. I mean, it's not like it doesn't come back quick enough. For this, increase the damage against a single focus target by 25%. And what am I doing here? Up high. So I'm picking up high, so this has to kind of complement that. Defeating enemies with up high have a chance of creating heroic orbs, so I was trying to get some heroics back. That's the only thing there. What am I doing with my embiggen? Extend the duration by 5 seconds. I know there's that glitch where you can mess around in the elevator and you can extend the timer a whole bunch of times. I haven't really played her that much to even worry about that stuff. Defeating enemies while embiggened extends the duration by 1 second. Again, just keeping the embiggened up as long as possible. Playing legitimately, that is. This is my masteries, so I increase the amount of heroic energy gained. So I'm trying to get my heroics back as soon as possible. Just mostly the heal, to tell you the truth. Boost range attack damage. Just because, you have some of those range mobs that are annoying. And she does have her extendy arms. And then, yeah, helps out. I mean, I could possibly go stun damage. Or combo finishes, maybe, but like I said, I haven't really focused on Kamala that much, to tell you the truth. Again, looking at heroic orbs here. Range specialization, whip fist. Just because of the concussive blast. I don't remember if I was using something else. No, I didn't really care for anything else there anyway. Reduce the cost of holding onto an enemy. When you figure out how to hold onto an enemy, it's not bad. You can pull enemies out of the air. 25% chance again to grant a heroic orb. And then the efficiency, what do we have? Increased willpower regeneration. So whenever I pop my heal, I get willpower regen. I should probably... yeah, whatever. I'm gonna change it, but none of the other ones are very good anyway. Unless you guys think they are, let me know. I'll change it up. Switch it up, try something out different. Polymorph damage increase. So that's even when I'm holding down R2. When she can kind of dodge and stuff. I think that counts as polymorph damage as well. Anything that increases damage is always good. Increase the amount of stun damage while polymorph is active. Yeah, not a big deal. I don't know. Intrinsic ability. I have increased the stun damage dealt by polymorph attacks by 25%. A perfect evade refunds 30 points. If I ever evade or parry, it's going to be a treat for you guys because I never do. Rapid regeneration. Shining Will increases the recovery rate of willpower. The lower the amount, comes up to 15%. So it just kind of... I'm trying to use that Shining Will ability as a heal, even though she can use it 3 times. That's my Kamala. We'll move on to Hulk. How long did that take? 5 minutes? Alright. I'll try and speed it up. You guys have seen my Hulk and Thor builds quite intensively, but this is one video where it's going to show them all, so I'll go over my gear first. Nanites of the Storm, basically he attacks with melee. This means that every melee, well not every, but 28% of the time, every melee crit that I do grants me 50% increase in status damage. And because I'm doing the battery effect with small debris doing a gamma damage and the heavy power attacks dealing burst plasma, I'm pretty much doing a lot of status damage between these two items here. They changed the wording on some pieces that now show heavy power attacks. For other elements, I think it was a bug before that only applies it on a plasma status. But now you can get it with other statuses. You can get small debris applying different damage other than gamma. But again, I'm looking for Valor or Might and Resolve. Resolve just for a little more of that tankiness, right? But here I managed to get Precision because the game loves me that much. I did try farming Rift a bunch with Hulk to try and get a better roll on stats for this, but never dropped again. So go Crystal Dynamics with their amazing loot rewards. Valor and Might on this chest piece. Big thing here is the Valor and Might and the reactive buff. So whenever I take damage, which at Hulk you're gonna get hit at least once, being in melee range, it pops a damage buff, which increases my damage even more. And we're using the Planet Cracker Dendrites, so Might has a high roll on it and proficiency. Increase the damage dealt to taunted enemies by 20%. So whenever I pop my Bone Shaker, that taunts enemies, I believe. And we'll go into the abilities afterwards. So whenever Bone Shaker is up, all those enemies that have that little icon over their head, they take 20% more damage. Then we got the aggressive buff, 35% chance defeating taunted enemies. Grants a damage buff. So this is my other way of getting a damage buff. So I got two ways right here. And then we're using Might and Valor and Resolve and Triple Valor to get our Valor up a little bit higher. Just because... Precision. Wait, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, but because we've got 3 stats on some of our pieces, wherever we've got Valor is a low roll, and this is a low roll Valor on this as well, unfortunately. If that was higher in terms of the star rating, it would have been a lot better, but... Yeah, and we're using the Ring of Nibelheim, Nibelung, whatever the hell it is, just so that we can get our heroics back faster from orbs. So basically, all I need to do in order to get a lot of orbs raining down from wherever is pop Bone Shaker and then kill the enemies that have that debuff on. And I can do that in one of 2 ways. I can either just charge at them with Stranglehold, or I can do a Thunderclap and it will literally kill enough enemies in my range that I will have enough orbs to get back whatever I used. Anyway, this is what I'm using for my specialties. Oh man, this is a lot of talking. Defeat 5 enemies while Bone Shaker is active to extend the duration by 5 seconds. Very easy to do. Savage Heroism, defeating enemies that are taunted, causes them to drop the heroic orb. So that's what I was saying. You know, whenever I pop Bone Shaker, any enemy that I kill will drop a heroic orb. So if I do a big AoE, like Stranglehold, or you know, the finisher of the Stranglehold where it does big damage, or the Thunderclap which does AoE, all those enemies pretty much die in those one hit, and yeah, they drop me heroic orbs, which I only need 4 to get back a full heroic bubble. So yeah, heroic assault, heroic ability. So this is Stranglehold. So 50% chance of defeating an enemy will generate a heroic orb. So again, just trying to get my ultimates back as soon as possible after using them. And this gives me an extra charge of Stranglehold. I could do the taunt to increase more damage to them, but I'd rather have 2 Strangleholds up. The Stranglehold actually does give you a heal using the Siphoning Grasp. So if you need an emergency heal, keep one of your Strangleholds available so that you can just cast it whenever, and you'll have 60% of your willpower come back right away. It pretty much heals you a full bar of health when you cast it. In terms of Thunderclap, I have seen people use what is it? This one, which is kind of cool. It does apply a gamma status to the enemies. But I use this one. It narrows the area of effect, which is why I really like those narrow ranges and those narrow rooms. But it increases the damage by 25%. And then on this side we have Thunderclap, Heroic Recovery, 50% chance defeating enemies with Thunderclap drops Heroic Orb. So again, common theme here, get as many Heroic Orbs as we can. Kind of cool as well. Because the ones that taunted draws them in. Well, I'm supposed to draw them in, but they take 20% more damage. Melee, so we got Vice Grip. Attacks with held enemies. It's the only one out of there that um works. I mean, the only time I grab enemies is when I like to smash them together. But increase the damage and impact of held enemies. Perform a takedown. Grants a heroic up. Ranged. Don't really use range that much. It doesn't really matter what you use in ranged here. But yeah, use whatever you feel works for you. Um, Intrinsic energy recovers willpower by 10% while rage is active. Uh, Increase all damage by 15% while rage is active, and increase the maximum amount of intrinsic rage energy by 50%. Intrinsic overcharge, we've got chance boost, increase critical attack chance by 15%. We have damage boost, increase all damage while overcharged by 20%. And we have hothead, increase the amount of overcharge intrinsic rage meter gained for all attacks by 20%. Every time I attack enemies, I get more of my intrinsic back. That is Hulk. Went to Iron Man. I may have to stop here and restart again afterwards because I'm going to be talking a lot. Have a little drink. So we have Iron Man. The only big thing for Iron Man is you've seen me play my Iron Man. I'm up in the air. I'm far away. I'm only doing one attack. I'm just shooting missiles. Cheesy build, but it works. This piece I am trying out. It's mostly for that last modifier, to tell you the truth. 25% increased status damage for all weapons. I am using the Tactigun for the status damage increase. It's a passive, so I don't really have to cast it. I basically get 11% increased damage on all enemies affected by a status, and 11% increased status damage from all attacks. You can use Quell if you like, but I'm never close enough to actually have it hit anything. I could use this. It does give me more precision and more defense rating, but I would never benefit of any of those perks. I'm using this is my bread and butter right here. Missile attacks deal cosmic damage, so it heals me and enemies take more damage from it. That's what cosmic does. It gives you a slight heal. So we're staying back, we're healing. I did try and farm some more cosmic gloves, but again, nothing that is useful with precision on it, of course. Go to the chest. The chest can be replaced. It's just got Valor and Precision on it. It's a stat plus perfect evades grant of damage buff, but again, like I said, you see me evading or parrying, you guys are in for a treat, because I don't do any of that. Aim guard is pretty nice as well. Damage reduction while aiming. Always in a constant aiming state. This is probably also a key piece for my build. That's working for me anyway. 17% chance to, when defeating enemies, to give Tachyon Surge. I'm getting that status boost again. But the Cosmic Potentiator is what's really kind of working with my Cosmic Missiles. Increase the amount of cosmic damage dealt by any attack by 20%. And the Heroic recharges as well. But yeah, the 20% buffs my missiles. And if I have a teammate that is applying a negative status, then I'm basically doing battery, and a lot of battery. So that's what I was saying in one of my videos. If you build your team to focus on specific statuses, so let's say my Iron Man's all positives, and someone else is all negatives, and you are doing battery amongst your teammates. So you don't have to build battery effect into one character. You just need it in your team. The benefit of each character. But this is my Iron Man build. I'm going to skim over this quickly. Just using the EMP Arc Overload to apply shock. And I never see it applying a shock status though, so I don't know. Don't know if that's working right or not. For my Unibeam, which I find that lasts way too long, and you can't even control it once you've cast it. I'm using a Mega Beam and Energy Condenser. just for the chance I kill something with the thing, it will drop me a heroic orb, which really the only thing I need heroic orbs for is to get my Hulkbuster back. The main thing for Hulkbuster is it's my instant heal, and it has invulnerability in the cast. So as soon as you cast it, you don't take any damage. As soon as you're in it, you don't take any damage, and it stays up for quite a long time. If you're wondering how to eject from Hulkbuster, if you press L1 and R1 and you move your right thumbstick, it will actually move Hulkbuster away from you so other people can get into it. I don't know if a lot of people have read this tooltip enough to understand that, but yeah, if you press L1 and R1 and you don't move in any direction, Iron Man will get into it. And press L1 immediately if you want to just jump out of it if you're using it for that heal. Energy Star. Reduce the intrinsic cost by 25% while using Hulkbuster. So this is more for being able to, if I'm in the last stage of the Mega Hive or something and I just want to burn through enemies, you just pop this and you can get like 3 casts of it, 4 if you're lucky. But yeah. Combat. So I don't really melee with Iron Man. If I do, it's by accident. Just something to get my heroics, increase all range damage by 15%. Because that shouldn't really be in this tree, should it? No. Anyway, yeah. Under range, we got rocket mastery, increased damage by rockets. We do rockets. We are a rocket build. We are the Rocket Man. Rocket specialization adds guidance systems to aimed rockets, which I don't really use that much. When you press and hold for a second, and it actually locks on. And then you got rocket efficiency. Decrease the intrinsic cost for rocket attacks. It's all rocket based. The fact that they've got this set up like this, so you have repulsors, lasers, and rockets, means that you're not supposed to switch between the three, which is kind of stupid because it limits your build. Anyway, intrinsics. So we've got increase the regen of intrinsic energy. Basically, we don't need it because we're always maxed on intrinsic when we use our arc reactor. And we use that thing with the energy shield to put us in overload state. But anyway, I will get to that in the next utility tree. So yeah, we've got overcharge duration, increase overcharge state by 2 seconds. We want to be an overcharge because we're doing a lot more damage in that state. Increase damage for all attacks while overcharged by 12% from that ability right. Anyway, this is how you get the infinite overcharge, I guess. Reactive generator grants 15 intrinsic energy when parrying enemy attacks. The thing is, it actually works off of just any parry, even though the enemy hasn't attacked you. You can parry the energy shield. And it will put you into overcharge state. So you can fill up on intrinsic energy by parrying your energy shield. But you do have to cast... Sorry, you don't have to cast the energy shield in the air, but you have to be in the air close to your energy shield in order to parry it. You cannot parry it on the ground for this to work. Tactical barrier, so when I do cast an energy shield, anyone near it gets 15% crit hit chance on all attacks, which is kind of cool for all your teammates. And increase the amount of range damage. Hey, that's my Iron Man. Alright, we'll go over to Thor. Have a little bit more of a drink. There we go, finally. So Thor was my first main character. I'd say he was my main. And after looking at this recently this week, I realized it's not as great as it looks. The shock damage is only applying on signature attacks, and my signature attack is literally a shock skill and a cold skill. So Yeah, both of those are applying shock damage, I guess. Anyway, yeah, this is something I could look for a replacement after realizing. But the melee crits activating Pim is pretty nice. But that means that this is also applying a positive. So I've got two positives applying a lot. So I could change to this, but I lose a lot of melee rating, but I get a ton of heroic. But yeah, I can play around with whatever. But it doesn't really bother me too much. I do have a Tachyon piece here, which would get me a Tachyon buff on every melee crit, and he crits a lot. But I don't need it there because I have it on another piece. So going for Might, Valor, and Resolve here again. Mostly Might and Valor is really key. The chest can be swapped out. I haven't seen anything better drop since though. I was looking for a Jarvis barrier piece here, but never dropped. So yeah, I used the Jarvis barrier off of the belt here. Low percent chance, alright, 8.3% chance, but it's usually up quite a lot. Anyway, big thing here is the stats and the and some of the perks. Perks here, I mean, taking damage, granting a damage buff is pretty nice again. He's gonna get hit at least once or twice because I am a melee Thor. Got triple Valor, Valor and Resolve on the other one. We are Tactigon because we're all about the status. Anyway, let's move over to our specialty. We have nearby teammates receive a damage boost when Warrior's Fury is active. Good for my teammates. And that also applies shock damage to the enemies. And then we have increased crit hit damage by 25% and crit chance by 10% for anyone affected by that. So this is really good for teammates. Assault heroic. So this is my what is it? The cold one. How's it called? I always forget the thing. God's Blast. So we're using the cryo one because I like how it slows enemies down and such, and it's applying another negative status. And then we're doing 20% increased damage when overcharged. More damage, right? It's all about damage. We got the Bifrost, the Plasma Bifrost. It's, it applies another status, positive status off burn, plasma damage. I mean, the others are okay, I guess. I mean, 10% willpower per second. You'd have to cast it on your teammates, which kind of lame. Odin's Blessing automatically activates Odin Force Overcharge when you return from Bifrost. So when you come out of it, you go into overcharge state. So then this becomes more powerful. We go into combat. Light and heavy attacks boost energy of heroic ability meters. We've got increased damage from combo finishes, and we've got performing takedowns drop heroic orb. For ranged, we got the tornado throw, so it doesn't pin enemies anymore, but it does electrify and status hits enemies with statuses. My status is cosmic. My hammer. Ranged attacks with a hammer break through blocking enemies, so those guys with shields are super annoying. This is whatever you want it to be. This skill is kind of good, in my opinion. It's, it just, a lot of people use this one, where he becomes electrified, but if your teammates come in front of you, then he hits them anyway, and it ruins it. So there's no point. I just use this one, and I never even use it. Force of Will, dealing damage while Odin Force is active. You recover willpower. That's when you're pressing R2 and you're attacking. You're getting willpower per hit. Takedowns give you 30 points of intrinsic Odin Force energy, so you can hit that overcharge quicker. Reduces the overall energy cost of using intrinsic Odin Force abilities by 10%. And then the intrinsic overcharge, we've got your overcharge when surrounding enemies. So when we do hit overcharge state with our intrinsic, that's what I'm trying to say here. The enemies are hit by lightning every now and again. I mean, I guess it gives them shock damage, right? So we're applying statuses a lot with Thor from a lot of different attacks, passive and offensive. Increase the damage resistance by 50% when Odin Force is overcharged. And increase the damage by 15% while Odin Force is overcharged. So more damage. Anyway, my cap. My Widow is my weakest. Saying. Probably not the best build, for sure. Go to the gear. So what was I trying to do with cap here? Was trying to. So I've got the battery thing going, but yeah, I was looking for might and valor. We got Jarvis barrier. Jarvis barrier. I was literally trying to find the helmet from the Mega Hive. And then I was gonna build around it, but never dropped. Dropped for me. And then Kate came out. Might as well break down some of those. Level that up as well. We got lots of Polycorons. But yeah, I could max out any of my characters to 150 if I wanted to. Again, we're looking for might, resolve, and valor. Just playing the stats game. He does okay. He's got the build going where he does the infinite Brooklyn Brawler. So we'll go into that though. So for Rally Cry, we've got triggering Rally Cry is a defense buff for all mates. Crit attacks on enemies marked by Rallying Cry. They deal 15% bonus stun damage. For the throwing weapon, we can throw our shield twice. And every 2 enemies defeated by thrown shield grants a heroic orb. So we want to stay in our Brooklyn Brawler as a lot, or as much as possible. So that's why I'm using the ring, because I only need to pick up 4 orbs, and I've already got another Brooklyn Brawler back. Now, by doing takedowns on enemies, what is it? So this allows me, yeah. So by doing takedowns on enemies, where the hell's the skill? It extends the duration by 3 seconds. And while Brooklyn Brawler is active, takedowns can be performed on anyone that's critically wounded. So they don't have to be a certain percentage of life. You can cast it when they are wounded in battle. And this just lets you keep up your Brooklyn Brawler pretty much indefinitely until you run out of enemies. And every time you do a takedown, it pops a heroic orb. So you only need to do 4 takedowns, which extends your ability by 12 seconds in total, and you'll have Brooklyn Brawler back for your next floor of the Mega Hive, for example. For combat, we increase the stun damage of attacks. We increase the critical attack damage for light and heavy combos. And here we go, perform takedowns, causes an enemy to drop a heroic orb. For the range, we're just increasing the damage of the shield. They fixed this recently, it seems, because now it's more accurate. A while back, it didn't used to be. So you couldn't hit those buttons that were far away. Just the aim was just off. Anyway, increase the damage by 15% by each target that's hit. Increase the chance to get a heroic orb when you get a headshot. I don't know if you can aim with the shield for a head, but you guys will know more than me. For the efficiency, recover 40% intrinsic shield block energy when doing takedown. I don't block as much as I should with my cap. I know he can block a lot of attacks from enemies. Reduce the penalty by 2.5% when shield block energy is depleted. And increase the amount of intrinsic shield block energy by 15%. An intrinsic ability, we've got increase the timing window to parry when Captain's defense buff is active. I forget how you get the Captain's defense. I know every time I look at it. Oh, the buff is triggered by Commander's Call. And that is there. How's Commander's Call? Lose it. Not in there. There it is. Not that one. One of these. There we go. Commander's Call. Press triangle while blocking. Also good because it taunts. What were we doing? The mastery. So we've got 20% when when captain's defense is active. We've got beating enemies refreshes captain's charge. And captain's charge buff is active. Melee and ranged attacks will break enemy blocks. Yeah. My Widow is all over the place. I'll show you what I was thinking about doing with her, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. Just because we're getting up there in time, but I'll skim through my build and such, I guess. My Widow is really weird because I was kind of bouncing back and forth with builds and such, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do, so I was kind of going for a melee, Valor, ranged kind of build, and I just didn't know what I ended up with. Just a lot of confusion. As you can see, I got precision, got the Valor going. I think I was going to switch to precision, but then I got some might. Yeah, and this just to keep our abilities up. Mostly the invisibility one, which I really like. Increase the Veil of Shadows by 3 seconds. Increase the crit attack chance of teammates cloaked by the Veil of Shadows. Got this one, which allows us to apply shock damage, but it only applies it to the one enemy. I did like the punch one, but yeah, it doesn't work for the build. And that allows me to hold a second charge of that. So I can apply shock status to 2 enemies. Increase the damage of Widow's Bite. Maybe I should go Widow's Bite build with more heroic. Who knows? Extends the duration of Power Surge. And then we've got increase crit attack damage while overcharge. Increase the delay by 1 second. Before intrinsic Shadow Ops energy begins to deplete when you're not attacking enemies. Never use grenades. I don't know. Never use them. I know you can use grenades to apply an element as well. But yeah. Anyway, invisibility. If you guys have a really good Widow build, let me know. If I feel like it, I may even start playing her again. Increase the range damage. So see what I mean? It's kind of bouncing back and forth between melee and ranged. I think I was kind of leaning more towards ranged afterwards. Extends the invisibility granted by Veil of Shadows by 2 seconds. Increase the crit attack damage while invisible. So I was trying to go for a crit build while invisible, doing range damage. Yeah. Doing takedowns grants heroic orbs. Ranged attacks deal more damage and boost the energy of all heroic meters. Yeah, not the greatest build, I don't think, but is what it is. Let's build out our team. We're on the last one. Kate. So you guys probably already know my Kate build by now, but I went for, or I'm going for precision, but I am a status build, so we have the Tacticon going again. We are using the power attacks to inflict gamma damage. By holding down the triangle button when you attack, you actually do ranged power attacks. So yeah, you can apply all of these statuses using bow and arrow. So we're using this sword because it increases the status damage from bow attack. And it's giving power attacks like gamma damage. And it's got precision and resolve on it. Not too bad. The arrows grant a damage buff, which is really good. Scattershot deals particle, which is okay. I wish it was a different element, positive element, because when they go small, it's hard to target them, especially at range. And the last thing with the invulnerability is whatever. It's nice to have a little bit of invulnerability, but it doesn't last for very long. This allows us to blink all over the map and not really burn through our intrinsic energy. Kind of a utility item than anything else. Then we have this, which we're playing around with right now. It does do more damage for me than my Jarvis barrier piece. But yeah, we're still testing that out. We got Precision Valor and Double Precision. And we'll go into the abilities. So I'm running. So anyone near my decoy reduces damage by 35%. Wondering if I should use this now, because I do use it a lot more. Meaning when I switch over to my decoy, swap places with it, it will regenerate the willpower and intrinsic. And Kate has no way of healing, so anytime the decoy kills enemies, it should increase chance of getting regen packs, health regen. This is bread and butter for Kate. No one else should be using it. You shouldn't be using any of these other abilities. Singularity is so OP. Pulling all enemies into a tiny location. I mean, imagine all the enemies getting pulled in and Hulk does his thunderclap or Thor does his Bifrost. You're minimizing that area of effect that you need to do. This gives you a second ability to pop a second arrow. Really good. You can get an item that lets you have a third charge of this. I do have it. It's in my bags though, in my bank slot. Quantum Pulse. Just because I don't really like her heroic ability. And because I have that chest piece, whenever I blink dash across things, my ultimate basically triggers for about a few seconds. So I'm stuck with it during that. But yeah, I don't really use her heroic very much at all. I'm not a big fan of it. And then for this, we got Shot Taker. It doesn't really matter what we got for melee because I don't really melee with her. I'm all about the ranged. This allows us to give us a reduced spread for Scattershot, so we can hit more of the enemy with our Scattershot. Increase the damage of a fully charged Scattershot, so I do fully charge a lot. So we picked all the basically the Scattershot abilities in this tree. I mean, again, you're forced to kind of go one build because you can't pick. Well, you can, but then you're limiting what you can do with your main arrow and stuff. So hard to spread out your abilities. Increase the crit attack chance of intrinsic and light and heavy attacks. Increase the damage of all intrinsic attacks, and increase the stun damage by 25%. And then for the intrinsic overcharge, we've got defeating enemies while overcharged, adds to the buff duration. Increase the amount of overcharge meter gained from ranged critical attacks. And ranged attack damage is increased by 10% while overcharged. And that is my builds, my friends. If you got any suggestions or advice or guidance, let me know. But right now, it's hard to play the game because I feel that most of my characters that I play on a regular basis can hold their own. And even when, like let's say with Kate, that I'm farming for certain pieces, they just don't drop. So what am I supposed to do? Either I save scum or I play it again the next week. Anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Until the next time, take it easy.